Several candidates were considered for the ministry, but just a short time before the congregation's vote was to take place, a young preacher named Keith Troy was asked to speak from the pulpit. Members who heard him that day say they knew in their hearts that Troy, despite his protestations, was destined to be their next leader.
We called Reverend Troy in 1983, and he had on the bulletin, he came and preached for us. And on the bulletin it said, "I am not a candidate." But through the providence of God, we were to vote the next night. Some way or other, we got his resume and everything in.
And when the vote came, Pastor Troy was unanimously accepted. But despite the congregation's enthusiasm for him, Troy himself needed a nudge. Pastor Turner recalls telling Troy that when God calls, one had better respond.
The hand of God needs to be in the calling of a pastor. We can set all kinds of guidelines and regulations, but in order for a church to be blessed, they have to allow the voice of God to be heard. And in New Salem's case, the voice of God was heard, and the fruit is what we see.
And he turned out to be the pastor that we were looking for.
Amen. Hallelujah.
Yeah.
I think the amazing thing for me about the sojourn here, and I often joke about this, but it is a reality for me, is so much of what God has gotten accomplished has been against my will. It's not really been what I wanted to do or whatever, and that's learning to totally submit and surrender to Him and watch Him do what oftentimes we don't believe is possible to get accomplished. To see the diversity in this congregation, the vastness of ages, people coming together, watching people do things they would have never attempted on their own. I always tell people, New Salem's a great place that allows you to fail. But it's in failure that we learn, and we can go on from there. So when you talk to me about amazing, it's every day around here.
Under Dr. Troy's leadership, New Salem's membership has grown from 400 to about 5,000, with New Salem moving forward with them. Women were accepted in ministerial roles and began to spend more time studying and enriching their own spiritual lives with other women.
And it was a time of excitement. It was a time of evolution in that our church openly, our pastor and our church openly acknowledged the call of female to the clergy. So it was a time showing the church in a state of flux. But it's turned out to add a richness and a depth to our teaching, preaching, and our worship.
It's really wonderful to see so many women that God has called. It's remarkable.
I had a desire to make sure that we prepare and always present a place where women can come, 1, to learn more about the Lord, 2, to be connected to other women, 3, to be equipped to go out and survive in the world today.
As New Salem navigates its future through each generation and evolves through all its changes, Dr. Troy says there is one thing that stays the same: the vitality and commitment of its members.
I think New Salem is full of hardworking, primarily everyday folks who love the Lord. Oftentimes the perception is given of an upwardly mobile congregation, and we do have that, but the core of New Salem is just hardworking folks who love the Lord.
And if involvement in New Salem is any indication, it's also full of people who love Pastor Troy. From the day he began his journey with New Salem, he has impacted and inspired the lives of those around him. In devoted commitment, New Salem members are moving their church into its promising future. As it guides and serves its community, New Salem truly is moving from the church that cares to a community of caring.